What is up, guys? Welcome back here to the Utes Dynasty. We're here today. We have the off-season. As we look, the Utes finished up at number 14 after beating West Virginia in the bowl game. We actually finished with 10 wins. When we look at Chris Carroll's stats this season, it was a pretty good year. I mean, I can't really say it was a good year. 22 interceptions. That's definitely not okay. He led the NCAA interceptions. He almost had 4,000 yards, though, which is incredible. A lot of those might have been garbage time yards, nonetheless. But Adrian Anderson, he actually finished 5th in the Heisman, rushing for over 1,500 yards and 22 touchdowns. Big year for Adrian Anderson. Wesley Johnson, he was one of our key receivers this year. I mean, 48 receptions, 771 yards, 4 touchdowns. He made some big plays for us. Sad he got hurt in the conference championship game, so he couldn't even play in the bowl game. Tough way to end the career. Matt Anderson, another senior, finished over 1,000 yards and 12 receiving touchdowns this year. So he was definitely the guy we're going to in the end zone. And then Everett Lowe, I mean, he won 3 awards this year, I'm pretty sure. It was the Bednarik, the Nagurski, and the Lombardi. I mean, 15 sacks, that's incredible. Lowe is only a junior, so he's only getting better. Thor Katoa, a senior, had a big year as well. He had 4 sacks this season. And, you know, he made some big plays. You know, runs. He was a big run stopper up the middle. No one could run against us up the middle. He was always going to the outside and get big plays because, you know, we had a pretty dreadful tackling secondaries. Danny Allen actually led the team in interceptions. He had 4. A lot of those near the end of the season. And as we look at the All-Americans, first team, we had no one on offense, but our defense definitely stepped up. And of course, we had Everett Lowe, definitely. Pete Tonga made it. Thor Katoa, Josh Pugh, Danny Allen, Corey McDonald, and even our kicker, what's his name? Joseph Howard made it. So, you know, pretty solid year if I do say myself. And then Brad Golden made freshman All-NCAA, and Josh Pugh as well. So some of the freshmen stepping up. And all Pac-12, Matt Anderson out of the Utah Utes, Everett Lowe, Pete Tonga, Kevin Walker, the whole deal. Same players from the first team All-Americans. We had some pretty good players this year. As we look at some of the awards, the Walter Camp, Adrian Anderson was just a few spots away. Not quite getting there, but, you know, it's okay. Everett Lowe wins the Bednarik Award. We had our fair share of players up in there. Thor Katoa is right there behind him. Josh Pugh, Corey McDonald, Danny Allen. Everyone's right there. Nagurski as well. And then the O'Brien goes to, you know, other quarterbacks. Adrian Anderson again, another award. Overall, just looking at all these awards, we just had a lot of players have individually good seasons, but it couldn't amount to a team good season. I mean, we had a lot of players play well defensively, of course, as we had the #1 rushing defense in the country, actually, which is very surprising if you watch some of our games. Like a lot of big plays in the first half after watching it back, and in the second half, we would just absolutely stop teams. But, you know, it's just one of those seasons, I guess. As Everett Lowe broke the record for career sacks at Utah, and he's only a junior, folks, so he's got a lot of more sacks to come, as you could say. And as we look, Adrian Anderson also broke the career rushing touchdown record of 54, and he's got one more season as well. And there are no changes on the Utah coaching staff, maybe a few on some other teams in the Pac-12, but we're not too worried, more focused on ourselves. As we look at some of the players leaving some really good players, Raylan Singleton, Matt Anderson, both projected to be in the draft. Surprisingly enough, Wesley Johnson was not projected to leave, which is really surprising to me as we look at who did get drafted. Raylan Singleton went in the first round, and he was our 3rd option, so that's pretty interesting there, I guess. But as we look at recruiting now for the next season, jumping right ahead, we got 4 guys we're trying to get, and I'm pretty sure we're going to get them, and we do get them. We need to fill in the middle linebacker spot. Thor Katoa is definitely one of the better players we've ever had in this dynasty. To replace him would be asking a lot. But as we look, our top prospect was Emmanuel Smith, a quarterback, 80 overall. Chris Carroll had his struggles this season, and maybe a true freshman take his job. As we look, we did have the #1 overall recruiting class, which is absolutely incredible. And now as we look, some of the changes, some of these athletes, you know, this is kind of insignificant, a little bit, except for Craig Walker, 66 overall to a 79 as a wide receiver. That is insane. It's Chris Carroll up to a 99 overall now. You know, we did just get a very good freshman quarterback, but 99 overall quarterback, I don't know how you start someone over that. And Adrian Anderson's up to a 93, and Rusty Marshall's up to an 89, both them seniors. So we got a very, 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 very senior-led team. Chris Carroll, not senior-led, this is an experienced team. Chris Carroll's in his 3rd year. Adrian Anderson is playing his 3rd year. Rusty Marshall is playing his senior year. I mean, even our tight ends, we got some experienced tight ends. Matt Rutledge, and, you know, granted, Brad Golden's only a sophomore, but he's one of our key players on this team. And as we look, our offensive line, we have a pretty stacked offensive line. and they're pretty, you know, junior, seniors across the board. That's what we're seeing a lot, except for I think at the left tackle position. Lacking a little bit there, but it's okay. Defensively, you know, there's a few holes here and there. Like the middle linebacker spot, I'd rather have a few better players, but Bill Ingram over the right outside linebacker, he's a junior, he's only 79. A little bit concerning, but it's okay. As we look at our DBs, they got a lot better. Jeff Henry, Josh Pugh, Danny Allen, Kyle Moses, all above at least 83 overall. This team made a big jump on the defensive end, and Jeremy Terrell, who had a lot of problems tackling last season, you know, hopefully he can step it up, or else he might lose his job. As we look at our season coming up our schedule coming up this season, start off at Utah State, then at Texas A&M, at Stanford, against South Carolina, at BYU, home against Washington, at UCLA, Washington State, Arizona, at Arizona State, and then against Colorado. That's how our season shapes up. We got a pretty tough start. I mean, at Texas A&M, at Stanford, at USC, at BYU. Those first 6 games will be crucial. And as you look currently here at the depth chart, a big question mark is the receivers. I mean, McPherson's only 84, and then we got Walker, Robinson, Williams, all fighting for a spot there to try and, you know, even Bennett's in there. We got a lot of receivers fighting, so we're gonna go through a little bit of practice to see, you know, who's stepping up as we look here at training camp, as you could call it. This one, a nice play there by Josh Pugh. Something that I want our DBs to do a little bit more is really go after passes. That happened a lot last season, where literally quarterbacks would just chuck it up and they wouldn't go after the ball, they wouldn't do anything, and they would just let it happen. I really want our DBs to step up. Is here Jared McPherson making a great catch there while getting hit. Now Carroll on a pump fake, looking this time deep, and it's actually Isaiah Williams showing off his speed. One of the, you know, he's contending for that top spot, and even Craig Walker really surprised me in this practice. Craig Walker, he's a big dude sitting at 6'4", about 220, I'd say. I mean, look at this dude. He's got hands, and he's pretty fast. And for most freshmen, they don't have the hands that Walker has. Look here, getting popped on this play and still holding on to the ball. Now Carroll, look at throwing again. Walker blowing up again. See, this is things that happen like Wesley Johnson, Isaiah Williams. Remember from their freshman years, they continue to drop the ball. And even Williams in this practice continued to drop the ball a few times. McPherson making good catches in coverage. And Chris Carroll making a lot better throws than he used to. Look at this. That's a tough ball. McPherson drops that one. Carroll looking to throw. Look, he can roll out. And Craig Walker, he was beaten. I think that's Danny Allen over there on the edge. He was destroying Danny Allen. And McPherson dropping a few balls here. Walker making a few plays, making these routes look easy. I mean, look at that. He's wide open almost every time I'm running this play. While, like, McPherson, he's not open at all. And then Walker getting blown up again and holding on to the ball. It's really impressing me how much Craig Walker, he's a true freshman, folks. And he was an athlete. He's the one from 66 to 79. Came out of nowhere. So Craig Walker, I just want to test him against a better, you know, defender. Granted, Jeff Henry is better, so McPherson will get in. And he still beats Jeff Henry. I mean, he's looking like he might be wide receiver #1 on the depth chart. And this time, throwing it deep here to, look at that, right there. He goes back, gets the ball. I don't know. He's different than some of our previous wide receivers. Look at this. In double coverage, he catches it, and he's gone and off to the races. Granted, that's a great ball there by Chris Carroll, and a little bit of lackadaisical defense, but still. And this one just taking it away from Henry. Craig Walker really impressed me in this practice. Carroll also impressed me with some of his throws. And now a good throw here, as Craig Walker would actually end up getting the #1 spot. So as we look here now at the rankings, Oklahoma State, after winning the national championship, is #2, and we sit at number 20. So we kind of have a lot of ground to make up. But I'm very, very promising season. Adrian Anderson is projected to win the Heisman. There's a lot of promise to this team this season. I feel like if it's either a now or never time to go for a national championship, it's really now or never. I mean, we got 2 senior running backs who are going to be huge parts. We got a very senior-led offensive line. Granted, we have a young receiver core, but we have Chris Carroll, 99 overall quarterback. Anything is possible this season. So I'll see you guys against Utah State. I hope you guys have a great day. And, of course, goodbye.